must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Good afternoon, viewers. I want to take a few minutes in the Africa School of Thought. I want to say a few points regarding the situation of the Chief Justice in the Republic of Kenya. The Chief Justice is part of the governance of the people of Kenya. He is one arm of the governance of the Republic of Kenya. The Chief Justice has never convened or tried to convene a meeting between the President, the Speaker of National Assembly, and himself to find out the weakest link in the fight in the governance of the people of Kenya. It is therefore very shameful for the whole Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya to use a platform, external platform, to announce a regime change proceeds using the platforms of international civil society to dismember the government of the Republic of Kenya. As a Pan-African, I feel sorry and saddened by the events that are taking place in the judiciary of the Republic of Kenya. The President or the executive has done its best. It has given the funding that is needed to fight corruption. Every time the agencies that fight corruption arrange, indict, and deliver a suspect in the courts of the Republic of Kenya, the same judiciary that the Chief Justice represents, the same judiciary that the Chief Justice says it is very perfect, releases these people at times on flimsy reasons, blocks the route of justice, obstructs justice. The case of the former Deputy Chief Justice, Lady Mwiru, who was found who should have taken a plea, but because of the problems that the judiciary has and the weaknesses, the incompetences that the judiciary has, the Lady Justice Mwiru was allowed to petition the DCI and DPP's application and a charge. She never took a charge, a plea in the normal courts. Of course, the events are much bigger than what we see today. It is sorry state that the Chief Justice is the one who can mention about the failure, yet the word failure is actually associated with the judiciary of the Republic of Kenya. Everybody in the judiciary knows, every Kenyan, young or old, knows that there is a problem with the Chief Justice. I take one example. For the Chief Justice to talk about the nullified elections, that dynasties collect themselves in kingdoms, in business entrepreneurs win an election, shows to you that he has something that is against the current administration of President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. I therefore call upon the international community not to listen to the side that actually weakened the fight against corruption in Kenya, but help the Kenyan people to fight corruption. Because the weakest link, which all of us know, is the judiciary in Kenya. If the Chief Justice was pleasing the civil society funders, the NGOs that gathered in Oxford, let them hear this message, that it is him and him alone. It is his incompetency, the lack of direction, the lack of leadership, the poor leadership qualities, the lack of pointing out the mistakes in law. The law itself that the Chief Justice talks about is the one to recommend which type of law. He can also suggest to the other two arms of government that the laws in Kenya surrounding cases of corruption are weak. But as usual, he has been a weakest link, remains a weakest link. Who is plotting, who is planning, who is trying to execute a foreign instigated plan against the Jubilee government. Thank you very much, viewers. That is a statement as far as the situation of Kenya is concerned. The Chief Justice, therefore, is plotting a coup, a constitutional coup, because he is trying to blackmail the leadership of the Republic of Kenya. Thank you very much, viewers. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the judicial budget has been reduced drastically, and we have serious challenges. To that extent, the Constitution accords the judiciary special treatment. The CJ has no Mercedes car. We do not have money for fuel. So what we had planned is to cripple the judiciary, just to delay their cases so that they get tired and they don't go on. There's nothing I can do. I will defend them. The judiciary is the weak link. Are you getting my point?
Was there a judiciary coup to unseat the government in the aftermath of Kenya's 2017 election? Who was involved in this coup, and how deep did it run? Is Kenya's judiciary still at risk from these rogue agents? In the run-up to the August 2017 elections, the people of Kenya witnessed unusual judicial activity around the role and place of the Independent Electoral Commission. Numerous injunctions were filed by civil society and political parties trying to influence the election. These court cases involve significant matters, such as acquiring voting material down to inconsequential matters, such as the color used on the ballot papers. The effect this had was frustrating the Electoral Commission and almost delaying the whole election altogether. The motivation behind these delays and judicial interferences was simple: greed. The outcome was sinister, a constitutional crisis, and the beneficiaries undefined: cartels and power brokers. We'll begin our story on the 20th of September and work our way back to where the plot began and who was involved. September 20th, Supreme Court, Nairobi. Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwelu is reading a prepared statement to the court. Observers note that she is stumbling through the document, unsure of what she is reading.
An impregnable case on both limbs of the section, to wit, accurate, very verifiable, accountable.
There is a reason for this. She did not prepare the document herself and has not taken time to familiarize herself with the text. Contrasted with her fellow judges, the scene becomes more suspicious. The truth is, the document she is reading was prepared for her by someone she has never met in Austria. It was delivered to her office the day before, and she has barely had a chance to read it. The author of this statement met with Chief Justice David Maraga in Vienna, Austria between the 2nd of September and the 10th of September. Why was the Chief Justice in Vienna for a week during the most crucial moment of Kenya's history? Only the day before, September 1st, the Supreme Court had nullified the election result and informed the public that the judges would be preparing their statements in the days to follow. Curiously, the Chief Justice's diary shows that he had traveled to meet a representative of the Open Society Foundation, a group with an unclear purpose but well-spread networks around the world. Why did Kenya's Chief Justice fly to meet Open Society representative Waikwa Noike after making that crucial decision? Why was the Deputy Chief Justice's statement prepared by a third party unknown to the public? By this stage, the coup had already developed and was in its final stage. All that was needed was for the public to unanimously accept the judge's statements and proceed to a second election, which was also to be nullified, as these confidential text messages reveal. The entire plot to nullify the election rested in three key places. Rosalind Akombe infiltrating and betraying the Electoral Commission from within, Supreme Court Register Esther Naikaki, who would receive evidence for the presidential petition and allow falsified and fake forms into evidence, and the biased judiciary, which was eyeing more funding from Open Society in return for judicial conformity with the Soros-led institution.
Viewers, good morning, Africa, wherever you are. We are looking at the rise from the ashes of the Judiciary of the Republic of Kenya. For the last 2 years, since the nullification of elections of 2017, the Judiciary of the Republic of Kenya has been on the headlines and in every newspaper worldwide, nationally, regionally, and Africa at large. The nullification of that election brought what we call a dual system of courage of justice.
That the presidential election held on 8th August 2017 was not conducted in accordance with the Constitution and the applicable law, rendering the declared results invalid, null, and void.
The justice that is demanded by civil society, international civil society, and the local civil societies, and the justice demanded by the interest of the nation. Given the two, which one do Kenyans want? Do they want the interest of the nation? In the interest of the nation, President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta decided to go back to campaign in order to show the world that he was able, and he is able, and he was the winner. The campaigns took place. An election was reconducted. For the second time, Uhuru emerged the winner of that election. From then, the judiciary has never been a judiciary for the people of Kenya. It has been a judiciary commanded, supported, equipped logistically by either local NGOs or international NGOs that tell them on what to do, not to do. And above all, the situation of judicial officers themselves being activists. We have seen a number of judges acting like activists on the streets, making decisions that are not in the interest of the judiciary and not in the interest of the country at large. The release of terrorists or alleged terrorists from courts using the law, and then the terrorists return to kill many Kenyans, is one of the factors that has caught our eye. In Africa School of Thought, we believe that Chief Justice Maraga and his entire team, or Chief Justice Maraga, the Deputy Chief Justice, Madam Mwiru, have not done a service for this country. They have misused the powers conferred upon them by the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya to either do politicking or accuse the executive of being political or being a witch hunter against the judiciary. Time and time again, President Uhuru Kenyatta has pumped in money in the judiciary to raise the standards of the employees of the judiciary, to give the judges freedom and welfare that they are able to conduct their affairs without interference. Is it time now for the Kenyans to say we have had enough of a bad judiciary? Is it time now for us to fight and for Africa to rise up? Because we see a lot of shrinkage of constitutionalism being done by the judges. If you look at what the judges in Malawi did, they did it in the morning, they reversed it in the afternoon, they ate it during dinner. Is this what Kenyans want? I leave it to you, Kenyans. Our hopes lie on the judicial service, the new judicial service system that has been put there. And hopefully, and only hopefully, that one day we shall rise from the ashes of corruption. Thank you. Good evening, viewers. Welcome to Punchline Africa TV, broadcasting all the way from the Republic of Kenya in Nairobi City. It is very good weather this evening, and it is a Thursday. As a Thursday, always we go for what we call the Punch. The Punch is one of our shows where we pick up a topic that has been, trending the whole week. Since Monday, and we look at what we can do, what we can improve, what we can talk about the topic, the judiciary in Kenya. We want to begin by first announcing several things about what is going on in the judiciary. With me in the studio this evening to dissect all these matters and analyze deeper, plus the elections, plus the newspapers themselves. Some places in the world, people are waking up right now and they would like to know what exactly is taking place in this country. And therefore, we shall not hesitate to do the paperwork. Thank you very much, viewers. This television is a Pan-African station. But as usual, we concentrate mostly where we belong, and we are here. We take all questions. We have succeeded in so many things in Africa, and we are doing very well. Cameroon is under siege. The Americans are now pointing a torch at Mr. Paul Biya, that there is no resting place for Paul Biya until you give the people of Cameroon the dignity they deserve. The Amazonians have struggled. Biafra is on the limelight. South Sudan, I was yesterday speaking to Riek. I want to thank Dr. Riek Machar for having arrived in the city of Kampala. And believe me or not, you can insult me 1 million times. I don't care, and I'm not bothered about your insults. I am on the job. President Museveni will meet them, is meeting them right now. And there must be peace. 5 days to go in South Sudan. We need peace. Less than that, and I repeat, less than that, United Nations tribunal. A tribunal is waiting. A country somewhere in Europe has drafted a tribunal that will send all the leaders of South Sudan to the tribunal, irrespective of which army you were commanding. And let's avoid that route. Let's have peace for South Sudan. Thank you very much. My co-host this evening is none other than Miriam Ogutu.
Good evening.
Good evening, Miriam.
Good evening to you.
I've not been very well, but I say I will die on the job. I will die on educating the people of Africa. My time of talking less or more past. It is now time to give wisdom. First, let me leave you to do the headlines of Kenya newspaper. I know people have read in Kenya, but other countries where we have not read. Start with the Daily Nation.
Yes, on the Daily Nation. And I saw some of the news making headlines today on today's dailies, but since have been passed with some events, I've overridden them. So because here, there's a point here where the CS for Treasury had said the country does not have money to, but I've seen they've tried to bring something together and give to the judiciary. And
yeah, the judiciary has been given money now. And Amadi, there's a letter that she has written accepting that the money has now been given. But that does not stop us talking about the conduct of Mr. Maraga, Chief Justice Maraga. Whether you like it or not, brother, I think you are tainted. You fight in public instead of doing a simple letter to the president, instead of talking to the president. You tell lies. A Chief Justice who tells lies does not deserve to be a Chief Justice of a country. Everybody in Mombasa saw there were only three cars that were allowed to drop guests at the center of where the army was parade. One was the Deputy President, two was Chief Justice Maraga. I would like us to look at that clip for people to see how Chief Justice lied that in Mombasa he was passed through a nooks, a small place to be sat somewhere without recognition. As if that one's not enough, there are so many very serious stories of lies that have been told. But today, the court, the Judiciary of the Republic of Kenya needs to move on. But it cannot move on with a man who is antagonistic. Already, the judges are antagonistic to the executive and the parliament. They are not working together as a unit. The executive is the overall command of the entire governance of any nation. There is no way you can say a subset of the governance can also tell. Maraga cannot command the Kenyan army to leave Somalia. Chief Justice Maraga, as you can see from that, you can see exactly what Maraga was saying. And then you'll see, then bring you can see that clip there for you. That's one of the lies. That is Mr. Maraga coming out at the podium, near the podium where the soldiers were. And that is His Excellency, the Deputy President of Republic of Kenya, same place. So when you come and populist policies, and you come tell Kenyans, look at that again, there he is, in a very nice shirt, well organized. And he came out and said he was not recognized. These are the type of lies. A judge cannot lie. If a judge is lying, what about us who are criminals? Who are criminals, who are going before him? The court is the altar of justice. A court is the last altar of justice. Is an altar of a temple of justice. Is the altar. You cannot lie and come back and lie and then lie again, then lie. Okay? So many things have happened. So many statements have been made. Mr. Maraga went to London to address a conference in Oxford. He lied. He was appealing to the international community to help him to topple a government in Kenya. He's toppling a government. Mr. Maraga's statement fell short of calling upon President Uhuru Kenyatta that I will fix you. Mr. Maraga is operating like a president, a mini god. The issues of the judiciary, corruption. He's a chairman of the JSC. What is wrong with him sitting down and writing a letter to President Uhuru Kenyatta quietly? The country does not, our children, the generation, the people in Africa who give Kenya respect, don't want to see this type of accusations. Mr. Maraga has picked, I have never seen a Chief Justice of a republic of any country addressing a press conference in the Supreme Court as if you are also a president. You are not a president. You are the president of the Supreme Court. You arbitrate issues. You talk about arbitration. You make judgments that help to boost democracy and governance in any state. But you don't come to pretend to be a president of a republic of Kenya. You wear your suit and call journalists and say, any questions? What about if they ask, why did you imprison so and so without a trial? What will you say? There must be a spokesman for the court. The judiciary needs to be straightened up for Kenya to move. President Uhuru Kenyatta has only almost 2 years left. He should leave a legacy. Maraga has got 1 year or so. But if I were Maraga, I would just walk with my pension. The way he is going, there are about 22 petitions that are being done, framed now. I've seen at least 6 groups that are putting petition to bring down Mr. Maraga. And the petitions are coming, very damning information. And it is going to, why do you wait for you to be pushed out? Why are you fighting for? You've done your job, you have done very well. If you say the incompetence has overridden the performance, so pack ship and go. In Africa, until we get that degree of people resign, if a Rere kills people, the minister resigns. A minister who is in charge of transport resigns in Britain because a Rere was delayed. A train delayed and 60 people were injured. A minister resigns. When can Africa have that type of life? Over to you, Miriam.
Yes, indeed. And of course, there's a lot that has been happening. And in case you're wondering what a press conference that is Dr. Matanga is referring to, the CJ earlier this week came out and said, you know what, this and this, and aired some problems he feels the judiciary is facing, and he wanted to bring it to the attention of Kenyans. But it appears to have worked, because today, the Treasury has allocated the judiciary more money. So perhaps now we start seeing the courts working. That could be the next thing.
Yeah, but the money, this money, they ask for this money every day. Maraga has been asking for this money. But how many people does he sentence? How many people has he sentenced? None. Maraga is covering up for the Deputy Chief Justice. What was the use of Maraga setting up a tribunal to look into a Chief Justice who had committed heinous crimes, economic crimes, using the letterhead of the court to apply for a loan in a bank where mafia were operating? What is the essence of having a Deputy Chief Justice who has been dealing with mafia to bring down the country? So such a person should have gone home. Mwiru should be home by now, and then wait for the police, and then the case goes to police. Even if you bring Mwiru's case to the JSE, it's overwhelming. The mere mention of that, they mentioned about a road about Jackton Ojwang. Mr. Jackton Ojwang agreed to step aside, and he went. He was cleared. A tribunal was formed. You see, a tribunal was formed. Why doesn't Mwiru step aside? What is she hanging on? A person who cannot read English and even read her own document she had written, what is she doing in the court? You know, these are some of the things. I have lost money in that court, but I'm not going to be bitter. So let's go, Miriam. Here we are. Dismiss of cases, delayed justice, unreasonable bails, conditions, slow in making rulings on corruption cases. These are some of the things we want to look at. Is it, and I want to ask Kenyans who are participating into this discussion, is it the criminal justice system that is wrong? What is wrong in Kenya? Is it Maraga? Yes. The laws are very many, but Maraga is incompetent. What do you think?
All right, but in his defense, I think he's come out and said that the court, just does whatever the court rules in whatever evidence that has been brought to it. I think I had a quote somewhere that he said earlier, and of course, when it comes to the unreasonable bails, in Jamhuri Day this year, President Uhuru Kenyatta did not mince his word, and he came out and he had an issue with the judiciary, and he said that judiciary's decision to grant suspects lenient bail terms and delays in conclusion of the cases was really hurting, some of these cases that Kenyans were eager to see the end of it, and some of these culprits taken to court. And of course, setting of bail and bond terms still remains at the discretion of the trial courts, with no caps as set for offenses like corruption. So I think that is one of the things that perhaps a doctor could be changed, because at this point, the setting of bails is at the discretion of the courts, but there's no caps that have been set when it comes to offenses like corruption. And going by the mega corruption we've been seeing, especially in the public eye, so perhaps the judiciary, they because there are a lot of, truth be told, there are a lot of corrupt judges in the system. They just take advantage of that, leniency in the law. So perhaps, yes, there's a problem with the office of the Chief Justice and the administration of, the way the law is applied in this country. But also there is also the matter of the law and how it is right now that allows these judges to make that kind of rulings and those kinds of things. That
but this can be done by a proper Chief Justice like Justice William Mutunga. William Mutunga made it a very good point by coming back to the Law Commission to say there are certain things in the court that don't work. You remember when Justice William Mutunga was in the court, he initiated changes. He made the court serviceable, and the service providers were very happy. With this guy, I don't think there is anything that is seen in this court. All what we have seen is Mr. Maraga calling conference upon conference, press conference, journalists being called and complaining about this, that. The money is given. Now the money is given. Let's see how many of the suspects will be locked up. How many judges? When they were screening these judges, now about 10 of them have been blacklisted. You have seen a list already here. They say most of them 4 judges that the spy agency does not want Uhuru to promote.
And it's also here on the daily newspaper. It was one of the stories today on the dailies, and it says NIS queries on 9 judges set for promotion. So standard quotes 4, and Daily Nation says 9 judges. So the National Intelligence Service have flagged 9 judges seeking to be promoted to serve in the Court of Appeal during the vetting process the nation has learned. And so they're giving the reasons as to why, because some people have come out and complained against these judges. So perhaps, the judiciary and the Judicial Service Commission and the people who are responsible in vetting these judges, perhaps they should take very keen look at some of these charges or some of these queries that are being brought about by these judges. Should they be true, and then the judges are allowed to just continue to serve in the Kenyan courts, then perhaps that will interfere in the manner in which even...
but President Uhuru Kenyatta was right to say he cannot appoint these judges, then a petition in 1 month takes time to bring down. That's more money from the court, managed sittings by JSC. It is money being spent. Why don't you refuse these charges, the judges, and tell them we can't? And that's what the president did. There was nothing wrong there. And Mr. Prisa or Priska Joyce, a woman or a man, I don't know, you are saying we're talking what we don't know. We are all in Mombasa, and we saw the Chief Justice coming out of his car. And the Chief Justice came to Nairobi, said he was not recognized. He was passed through Panya Road, a road behind to go into the podium. Yet 2 people only you could see. So is that not a lie? This is coming from the mouth of a whole Chief Justice, a custodian of the law, a custodian of justice, a custodian of legal, apparatus, telling a lie. What about we criminals, we sinners?
I did not watch the whole press conference by the Chief Justice. I was busy preparing some things, but did he make specific reference to that
Yes.
that day celebration?
We can play it. It is there. Miriam, it is being played. You can hear.
I thought he made a general.
A custodian of legal, apparatus.
The CJ was allowed to walk to the dais through a sidewalk. To walk to the dais through a sidewalk. To the dais through a sidewalk. Through a sidewalk. Was allowed to walk to the dais through a sidewalk. To walk to the dais through a sidewalk. The dais through a sidewalk. Through a sidewalk.
You can't see for yourself. So you tell me what is wrong with life? He said he was allowed to walk through a sidewalk. Was that a sidewalk?
From that event, he was brought to the podium.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is directed near the podium. So which side you walk? It's a lie. I don't want to bring this because this is now a petition about his driving offense that occurred in Nakuru. That some other people are dealing with them. They have collected the evidence. They are going to put it forward. Because people have looked for the drivers, where they were treated, which doctor treated them, which hospital they were, who was driving the car. There is a record that they call AIR. Let me tell you, Miriam, maybe you will learn some of the things today, and you might be useful in your future, engagement in the media. We would like to know about the Chief Justice. What is an IAR number? The case was handled by a lady officer whose name I'm withholding, based in Nakuru Traffic Office. The people on the scene tell a different story. So let's leave it there. We have captured the AR number. We know it. What was it? So if people think we are talking lies, just keep quiet and wait. I am telling you, if I were Chief Justice Maraga, I would have started quietly to leave.
He said he's not going.
No, it's okay. It's okay. No problem. But he has to struggle through, because what he's going to do, he's bringing us quite a lot. He's bringing the judiciary. Judiciary will not perform properly. And when Mr. Priska Joy, or I don't know whether you're a man or a woman, you are saying what's a lie. Are you watching the clip we are talking about? The Chief Justice said he passed through Panya Road to enter the podium. His car was directly across the podium. Is that a Panya Road? No. And if you can come closer to him, ask him for his IAR. And that's it. So those who will bring the petition, I'm telling you, I'm just giving you advice. I'm giving you advice. Because if I were him, now the money has been given, concentrate and keep quiet. But the more he goes on tackling and fighting the president and the executive and the parliament, the more people will dig out all these smaller things. Because if you can be a Colombo and see the type of accidents and the injuries that were sustained, it means people were driving the car direct. A head injury of that nature does not occur to a passenger seated behind. And if so, where were the drivers treated? Which doctor in Nakuru? We saw everybody talk about the two, the Madam Chief Justice and the Chief Justice. What about the bodyguard? Were they in the car? It was a Saturday. He says he doesn't work on Saturday. Where was he going? In church. Okay. Did he have the official bodyguards? To drive an official car of the state, you need permission from the transport office. These are some of the things that are coming. So you wait. I am just simply telling you that the Chief Justice would better resign, because he has tainted the court. He's tainted. He should not be part and the parcel of leading the transformation of the court. This court needs to be completely. That's it. Completely overhauled. There are judges there that have a problem. There's one there who gongered me 6 million shillings. And I don't want to say much. I'm watching. But these are some of the things that have annoyed so many people, you know. So it is, instead of having a court, a part of the judiciary, people are taken there, they are released tomorrow. People, the court, you said they were, okay, let me ask one question. It took the Kenyan courts almost 10 years to sentence Akansha, the Akansha family. It only took the United States of America 9 to 10 months to sentence them. When the report came from United States of America, Justice Maraga said there is no judge who was involved in any drugs. Am I wrong? It was there. He said it. None. It is a statement in the papers. You can look and find that statement. Now, after that, the American FBI released the statement to the public. And it found that a judge, a lady judge, and two other people, judges who were in Mombasa and other places, connived with the Ankasha family to conceal. And this is evidence that has been written in the United States court, not Kenyan court. So those judges are there.
The judges are there and the police are there.
Yes, the police, even the people, the DPP's office, those people who used to get bribes are also listed.
Yes, they're all there.
2, we went to the court. We photographed a white Range Rover, which was owned by one of the female judge. A female judge who used to drive a very ramshackle car. Within a few months past, this female judge was bought a car by an office, you know, the people who, receptionist at NHIF. Is it, am I right? Mm-hmm. The receptionist who has 8 houses went to the showroom on Gongo Road, bought a car cash to one of the judges. We took photographs of this car. It was parked all the time in Milimani Court. We flashed it out. I can bring back the photographs if you want. This judge, instead of the Chief Justice, this judge used to drive this car into Milimani Court. The judge, after seeing that we had discovered the car, this lady judge warned us not to do anything in the social media because he was protecting the girl of the boyfriend. And that judge, instead of being dismissed or suspended, Mr. Maraga, because the judge comes from Maraga's home turf in Kisii, he did transfer this judge to some other place. She's now busy there minting more money and causing more corruption. That case of NHIF, where is it? Kenyans have lost money as a result of such dubious things happening in the court. You might think, okay, fine, I'm not a Kenyan, but I cry for them. When you hear that such huge amounts of money have gone, and the judge who is supposed to sentence this person has connived with the fellow and, you know, warned us not even to talk about the car. The lady judge, when we took those photographs, the woman removed the car. But Maraga was notified that this judge was bought a car by one of the suspects in the NHIF scandal. The man who used to fly, because he stays in Athi River, he flies to see us down and laugh. An office messenger, a receptionist owning 8 houses. The judge in the court of Maraga came up to warn us, especially warn me. We people who are on the social media talking about the car, that if we find this anywhere, we shall look you up. Now you tell me, Kenyans, who is going to cry for them? This man has come back. He sold his houses very nicely because the woman said nothing should be taken out of this man, not even bank statements, not even bank money. Money was returned. Where is that case? Maraga talks of money. Why doesn't he talk about, I have delivered 2 cases, I have imprisoned 3 cases, I have taken 2 men down, recovered 2 billion. Then somebody can be happy. Kenyans will be happy. But if you are delivering 0, you don't know even how to administer the court. The court is in chaos. Askaris are the ones handling cases. You find the Askaris running with files in the corridors. Now, what do? We keep quiet and allow this to happen. So if the CJ position is not very easy, then you want us to do what? Keep quiet? We should not talk about the CJ. We have not defamed him. We are talking about facts. And Mr. Priska Joy, you seem to be knowing more. Go and ask him that we are looking for his IAR number. That we have got it. So just wait for the petitions to come and chase your man out.
All right, and during the time, perhaps just on the side of that, when the BBI team was going across the country and seeking to get views from Kenyans or from institutions and everybody, just to see how they will to reach out to everybody. So the Judiciary also had a day and presented their submission through the JSC to the BBI team, and they just suggested a couple of things. And one of them, what the Judiciary was suggesting or submitted, some of the points that they did, is that judges want the state to use political means to fight corruption as opposed to over-relying on courts, as saying that the over-reliance on criminal justice system is slow and sometimes not as effective as it should be, given the heavy burden. So what the Judiciary was submitted to the BBI team, they're saying perhaps there could be other means of trying to fight corruption in the country, and he took the ball and perhaps shared responsibility by the political wing of the country. I don't understand how that could work. Perhaps, Doctor, I don't know if you would dissect this this submission by the courts, by the judicial system.
Thank you very much, Miriam. You see, I missed that point a bit.
Mm-hmm. So during the submission, Judiciary also did their own submission to the BBI team.
Yes.
And by the time they're doing that, that means perhaps they're in support of the BBI in totality. That is what is perceived to be, all right? So in their submission, they said the state should use, they're proposing that the state should use political means to fight corruption as opposed to over-relying on courts. So are they admitting that the weight of fighting corruption is too much for them, and so they're sort of seeking help from the political?
No,
saying that a lot of these
those were proposals from the judiciary.
Yes,
I think they were simply saying some of the cases brought in the court need political solution than the courts. Why? Because there is no law that is going to pin these guys down. For example, if you say you have arrested people who took, you remember the DCI called everybody to go, 100 people lined up in DCI. What was the point there? Is I bought bed sheets, I bought forks, I bought sigiri, jiko, I bought jiko, sindio, ya makaa ya kuenda, spoons for the hotel, beds. So this was money meant for dams. But someone got this money out, dished it out for relatives and friends and companies to buy things that were later on taken. I have heard a story that even some people were stealing nails from SGR. I've had a story. There are stories. If you travel up country, they are sitting in one of those nyamachoma places. People will even tell you that nails were being stolen at night. Concrete, cement, bars. We have, so what the judges are saying, some of this corruption cannot be handled.
But if you leave it to the politicians the way they're suggesting, where would that leave Kenyans? Because we don't trust these politicians to solve corruption cases, which it is them who are very much involved in this.
Neither do we now hold Mr. Maraga responsible.
So where will this...
You can't find Mr. Maraga responsible because Maraga will not even bother. Maraga has a timetable. Believe me or not, Miriam, one day you'll ask me, Mr. Maraga has a timetable to dismember this country. The earlier the people of Kenya wake up, I was very happy when Ngunjiri Wambugu took the petition to finish this guy. People just said, we withdraw it. Time has come again. I'm happy now. Over 22 petitions are being arranged with evidence where the Chief Justice cannot say he's gonna win. At least he will have to step aside and the investigations take place. So that is the only way. There is no other shortcut. There is no other shortcut because he's tainted the court. He can't be the Chief Justice of this country. I mean, you people want him, have him. But for some, the way we see, you can't manage the court. The court officers themselves are the ones releasing this information. Thank you very much. And being a day for elections in Kibra,
yes,
we have not talked about it, but I have just seen a picture saying Mr. Itumbi is spreading lies. Something is very strange again here. Itumbi has resurrected again or something. That is saying the returning officer at IEBC has issued a statement saying that people should ignore the results that are being put on social media by Mr. Itumbi. I don't know why this young man has come again. And here he is. There's one picture that has captured my mind. The former senator of Kakamega with stones. You know, have you seen that picture?
Not yet.
Oh my God. I think they send that because these are some of the things that are making Africa look like the entire Africa look like a banana republic.
But the election already closed, and now all the polling stations there in Kibra have started counting, I think, the ballots. So perhaps I don't know how early we're going to get the results, but this is going to be very interesting.
I think the results should be coming. They are coming in, and they will be coming in, but they are not tallied results. Therefore, it is going to be... You haven't seen this. Stephen, you have not seen this?
No.
Yeah, this is Mr. Yeah, it's there. It's on the screen. That is a picture of... We know we choose things like the punch. We've talked about the resignation. That's a picture of a whole doctor who studied medicine, who was a former senator of Kakamega, collecting stones. So I don't know how children of this man think when they see the father with a very nice shirt, a well-organized everything, a man in the 50s, almost coming to 60, carrying stones to fight younger boys. You see? That's the type of life that people don't want us to talk about. And he was doing it and it's being captured. There is. That is Honorable Boni Halwale, who has shifted in more parties than the time I've been in Kenya. In 10 years I've been in Kenya, I've seen him in several parties, each party, each year, each election. So there is, now I don't know what those stories are. It's not a Photoshop, it's a real thing. He was, later on the bigger crowd came for him. He had to jump with Sudi. They took off. So what has happened? What has happened in this judiciary? Maraga is captured. Do you believe? Maraga is captured. I know you are very skeptical, but as a Kenyan, you can see there is a capture.
I'm just being a journalist.
Yes, being a journalist is captured.
Yeah, but truth be told, we have some problems in the judiciary that requires a lot. If this country is to function, I think judiciary requires a lot of, I don't know, early in the year we were talking about innovation, but we've not seen much come out of that. So we don't know how.
Is there any innovation in the court?
So we don't know how much. Perhaps the next time the CJ holds a press conference, he should tell us the strides the courts in Kenya are making, some of the changes.
But why does he hold it? Let me ask you. Have you ever heard of the Chief Justice of Britain holding a press conference?
I felt as if he was pressed to the wall. He didn't feel like.
But he can. There were ways. You see, we have no problem.
And maybe he thought perhaps
we have no problem with
the president. He was trying to be independent or something. So if perhaps calling the president would, I don't know what his. I don't know. I can't make of what.
Independence.
Yeah, it's important.
Independence means you work, you are independent, but you can coordinate with another branch.
And I think that is important.
That is very important. That's all we are asking for. Maraga would be doing that. It would be very good. But he wants to show that there is a problem with the executive. And it is the executive creating all the mess that he cannot sentence people. There you are. You are being greeted still. And so many people are greeting you. Thank you very much, Ochukukwi.
Yes.
Ogohuchi. You have seen Miriam only.
No, he said good evening. He started with you. Come on, you want to start picking a bone with me?
Yes. Thank you very much. Now,
yes.
Let's come to the stories that are making a situation is growing worse. The politics of 2022 seem to have arrived even in the courts. Everybody is positioning to become something, somewhere, somehow. In your assessment, what do you think the courts, what do you think the country can do about the judiciary?
The country can do about the judiciary. I think that Kenyans should put more pressure and raise expectation. I think for over a very long period of time, Kenyans lost confidence in this judiciary, in this country, because of the track record of how the non-performance, the delayed justice, where sometimes cases just go on forever. Some judges seems to be very to show little regard for the difficulties and sufferings of litigants sometimes, and sometimes they postpone cases without reason. So these are some of the things that Kenyans have had to deal with when they go to the Kenyan courts, and so over time they sort of lost confidence in the Kenyan courts. So I think that even for Kenyans, as a Kenyan, I would like to put more pressure on the judiciary to make sure they deliver. I'm sitting here waiting to see how those cases will end as a Kenyan, because this interests me. This is my money that was lost in some fictitious, scandals in this country. The money that was supposed to go and build schools somewhere in Turkana, the money that was supposed to go buy maize, buy fertilizers for farmers, take medicine to health centers, public health centers that are lacking. At the end of the day, when just the normal Kenyans don't get these services, they get to be hurt. So when you see a lot of this, and then these people are taken to court, and we don't know how, we don't understand how those cases are going, and at the end of the day, some of these people will walk out scot-free. And I think that is what really upset the president when he was giving that Jamhuri speech. And he was saying, it's why are these people being let go? Because they've been caught, the evidence is out there, but, at the end of the day, this how the court works, and perhaps, and they base that argument of releasing people on bail. It is there in the Constitution, Article 49H. So that is where the judges and the judiciary base their ruling on and their decision on. But still, as a Kenyan, I still want to see more. So I think we should put more pressure, even as Kenyans, to the judiciary, so that they deliver, so that the things we want to see, changes we need to see in the judiciary. And these reforms, and perhaps Parliament should also consider to pass some of these laws that will make sure that the judges don't get a loophole when it comes to how they make some of these judges and some of these rulings, because they just base them back to the Constitution. So they get a leeway and a loophole to how they make some of these.
So in short, the criminal justice system needs to change.
Absolutely.
Okay, fine. We are not only criticizing Maraga, but we are also giving solutions. One of the causes, the EACC investigated the judiciary, and they found out 5 good reasons or 6 good reasons as to why there is corruption in the judiciary. I want to prove the point to the people who say I am against Maraga. One of the reasons they found is bad deployment and the transfer policies and the practices.
I think you just give an example of that judge with the Range Rover and
yes, the example of that lady judge with a white Range Rover who had committed several crimes, bribery, corruption in Milimani courts, was transferred to Kajiado. Okay? So that is one of the reasons that kills the court. Because people are only saying we are only condemning, but we want also to bring reasons why undocumented poor terms and conditions of service. If you have poor terms and conditions of service in the judiciary, corruption will rise. What can we do to change the poor the conditions of service? 3, delays in hearing or determination of cases. This is happening in our courts.
Yes.
Who should speed up all this is the Chief Justice and his team. 4, non-merit-based recruitment and a promotion, like the one that you have seen right now, where some judges were refused, and they had a background, everything was there, but they were just put on the list for the president to promote and accept in appeal chambers. Number 6 is greed. There is plenty of greed in the courts.
That has been proved.
It has been proved. You have seen so many judges. If you go to the waterfront in Karen, like tomorrow evening, if you want to arrest people, judges there, doing deals, you will not come out without 10 of them, with other lawyers, distinguished men, making deals on how they are going to fix cases. The courts are full of, all court officials in Kenya are to blame for some of these things that are taking shape in this court.
And I'm just hoping that this is a report that was done by the EACC. They wanted to know, because at that time, the judiciary was known to be the link, the weakest link when it came to fight against corruption. So the EACC, being the body that is mandated to fight corruption here in the country, that spearheads the fight against corruption, I think they took it upon themselves and they wondered, what is this rot in our Kenyan judicial system? What is happening in our courts? What is happening with the people who have the mandate to discharge justice for Kenyans? And so they took upon themselves and they went out, and this is a report and a finding that they came out. So I am hoping that the judiciary of this country actually took this report into heart and seriously, and maybe not, because we've not seen much.
They did,
but
they didn't. I think they got it. He came back, even getting annoyed.
But I hope that they will consider some of these things and see how is it then.
The existence of wide, a judge decides when he looks at your eyes and says, I'm sentencing you. So are there no guidelines? I'm sentencing you to this. On the part of the judicial officers in both civil and criminal offense. If you are told, or if you are like a Dr. Matanga now, who has been talking about justice, judiciary.
Oh, they'll get you.
If they get me inside there, I think they would want me to be locked, never to be seen anywhere. So I look, these are some of the things that the courts need to correct. Kenyan courts need to change. They change for the better to work for the people of this country. Thank you very much. We now can have any African issues that you had in the morning or you have had.
In the morning we did not have. But yesterday you're not here also, Doctor. You're busy. But, Paul Biya was celebrating 37 years of ruling in Cameroon. Maybe it's not the best news for you, but yes.
Mr.
Paul Biya of Cameroon.
Paul Biya, 37 years in power.
Yes.
Yes.
With pomp and color.
He beat Museveni by 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
37 years rule.
President Museveni has celebrated 34. Paul Biya 37. Yeah.
And also yesterday, as I was reading the news, let me just now bring you up to date. President Salva Kiir, yesterday was 6 days to go, today is 5 days to go. So he ordered the Speaker of the Parliament for South Sudan to start building Parliament. I wondered, so they have money to build, have any. Of
course, money. Oil is drilling every day. But they have money.
But he can't fund the peace process, and that is what Machar has a problem with.
I mean, the entire thing of I've spoken to so many people close in Kampala where these meetings are taking place, and I can't reveal some of these things on national television. But I would like to tell you honestly, the state of affairs after 12. If these guys don't strike a deal from Kampala summit, they are cooked. A country in Europe has done a fantastic resolution, waiting 12th, 13th, PAP, 14th. If they have not done the deal, they will not survive. And the question that I've been talking about, South Sudan, accountability in terms of people who are killed, all what they should do is quickly to turn a framework and change the accountability agenda. Deal with it. Part of why Riek Machar is hesitant is the accountability agenda to be caught up there. Because both of them were commanders. Mark you, Salva Kiir was the commander and Riek was the commander. Mr. Ntaganda has been given 30 years. 30 years in jail today by the ICC, International Criminal Court. Sentenced to 30 years. So people who disregard some of us, the role we played, you can see what we saved you from. 30 good years for his role in the Congolese militia, recruitment of child soldiers, rape, and so on. But here we are in South Sudan. We have 384,000 people missing. Their relatives don't know where they are, how they went, whether they are alive or they were killed.
We actually have about 2.4 million refugees, South Sudanese, across the world.
Yes.
And the number you're giving are the people who are dead, whose blood is bailing for justice.
It is very pathetic.
It is.
For the South Sudan issue. Let's do it quickly, move very quickly. If they don't have a peace agreement, we have trouble, Houston.
ICC is waiting.
Another story maybe which is right at the top of it, any story which we saw, the parliament passing is Kalonzo. Kalonzo is in Kampala. So some people were speculating Mr. Kalonzo was working with Ruto. I mean, there is no permanent enemy in politics.
Politics, yes.
Therefore, if there is anything like that, it's acceptable. Ruto is a Kenyan, Kalonzo is a Kenyan. There's nothing wrong with that.
Working together.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So as we wait.
And James Piol Akok is totally agreeing with you, and he's from South Sudan. He's saying, you know what, a tribunal perhaps could be the last resort.
I am telling you that I have told Dr. Riaka Machar, don't say I never told you. Brother, I've done my best.
So the 100 days he wants extension, it's not warranted at all.
Now, who is going to give 100 days?
I don't even want him to get the 100 days.
From where?
And I'm sometimes
100 days, people are dying. And you want to give 100 days for what? Just make a government.
That is very selfish.
You can make a government and go back and mobilize the troops.
Yes,
allow the troops. You see, the problem here is, I don't know who is going to pump some knowledge in these guys.
The real sense, not even knowledge.
The sense.
Yes.
Look at you know, Africa, we have a problem here. One of the problems that we have is we look at some other people to be able to solve our problems. Egypt.
Exactly.
Is the chairperson of African Union. The matter between Egypt and Ethiopia could be solved.
And Sudan has also been drawn into that
matter. Could be solved by Africans ourselves.
Does it not have?
But now we have
confidence
and gone. It shows we are not yet able to shrug off colonialism.
Doctor, not even able. Mr. Al-Sisi, as the chairperson of African Union, having a problem with another African country, carries himself to the US and thinks Trump will be, Stephen Mnuchin is the one who's working through the mediations, who will be the right people to mediate between two African countries that is having a dispute. And he is the chairperson of African Union. The level of hypocrisy and just, does he not have confidence in African Union himself? Because that is what that goes to show. And if not, why do you still need Mr. Al-Sisi there? I know he just called for Maraga to leave office, but I think Al-Sisi should do that first, if he has not confidence in the body that he even chairs, the African Union.
No, but look at the worst part of Africa is Libya. Al-Sisi is part and a parcel of Libya's problems. Now he has left Libya, he has come to Ethiopia over the water, but they have not involved where the water comes from.
Ethiopia is working on the side that it has the water.
Yes, it is coming from the other Nile. And Ethiopia says it needs the power. So what America maybe is going to do is to give them some form of nuclear electricity that is needed. to safeguard the water to forfeit the dam.
So that could be given to Ethiopia.
Yes. Otherwise, it is a full-scale war. If you close that water, Egypt will have no water. There will be not, people will not survive, animals, food, and whatever, they will not be able.
Yeah, that is the fresh source of water.
That is how God made Africa.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Anything in Somalia?
Not yet, but the last time I checked, floods was really ravaging Somalia. And it was very difficult to get people help because of the situation there.
If you want to get any article that I've written, please just go to my website or my Facebook pages. I have about 9 pages there. And also the article came out, I think you saw it, in Capital FM.
Yes,
as a blog.
I saw a blog.
Fantastic, well balanced, and the suggestions. Go there and read it. And give your comments. Insults don't help. Also get a pen and write a better one instead of insulting. So we have done our best. We have done our best on Maraga. Petitions are coming. It is better, Mr. Maraga, to say bye-bye, I've left. You don't need to waste all this time in court. All this 40 years you have worked, and then you end up being removed by a petition. Thank you very much. And tomorrow in the morning, I will be here looking at, I will be missing my beloved sister.
Yes.
She's going to do some of her exams.
Yes.
Yes, I will be here. I will be looking at Zimbabwe. The sanctions in Zimbabwe.
The sanctions in Zimbabwe.
Of course, I will be announcing the results of Kibra. And a man who did not vote for himself, maybe God is a miracle for him to win. I hope so.
Doctor, I was watching that and he walked into, why did he even, okay, I'm not even on anybody's side here, but I'm just wondering, even for the people of Kibra, the residents of Kibra, this is, you go to a place where you're not even registered as a voter. So the march Maraga did there is take selfies. Can you believe that?
I tell you what, Miriam, that is the problem of Africa. That's the problem of Africa.
The tragedy.
The tragedy of Africa is that. And I want to thank everybody tomorrow at 11 a.m. in the morning, p.m. 11 a.m., yes.
Hello, are you present?
Eh?
It's 11 a.m. East Africa time.
Oh, Miriam is reminding me. We shall be joined by our special correspondent, investigative man called Tawish, to help me, because I'm a bit weak. I'm not well, to help me to, to look into some or 2-3 things. So thank you very much tomorrow. I want to thank Miriam. I wish you good exam. I don't have a card
Thank you.
to give you, but
okay.
Whenever you look, when there is any hard question,
I just remember your wishes.
no, look at my eyes.
Okay.
Look at the eyes, or let the vision come in your head, and then you remember the answer. Yes.
I will.
Some of the things, I don't know which subjects you are going to do. But the ones that attach to journalism and international relations, remember what we have been talking here. We wish you good luck.
Thank you.
And we shall be back on the night programs, mainly.
Yes. For the
when
next
you have done your exams.
Yes, for the next 1 week. And then the other week we'll be back.
Yes, I'll stand in for her and keep the fort moving.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you very much, all of you. This is the only station which calls upon Mr. Maraga to resign.
as Dr. Matanga has said.
Yes.
For me.
Mr. Maraga, pack your books while time is on your side. Otherwise, 22 petitions are on the way coming for you. I don't know how you'll walk out of this. How you'll walk out of this, I don't know. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Africa. God bless everybody. Over to you, Miriam, to close it down.
Thank you so much, and be away, but I'll be present here for the evening shows, and I'll be present here for Africa Showdown on Sunday, so I'll see you on Sunday, but for Dr. he'll be here with you tomorrow. Thank you so much for engaging with us, and for your comments and your questions and all of that. You make the show worthwhile, so thank you for your company tonight. From me, it is bye-bye.
I will be with her through osmosis until we reach Jerusalem.
Okay, I'll take that. Bye.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.